What's up YouTube, it's Authentic. Today I've got a video for you guys. It's about the 4th rotation of Hydra. One of the toughest Hydra rotations that we've seen so far. It's got Wrath, it's got Decay, it's got Mischief, and it's got Blight. Now these are all 4 annoying heads to deal with. A lot of trouble can be caused by these 4 Hydras. Now I found a champion. If you don't have a Krisk, and if you don't have a Tuhanrak, and if you don't have these amazing champions, you have to work with different type of champions. Now this champion is fantastic for this rotation. His name is Skullord Var-Gall. He's been released in this game for over a year now, year and a half I'd say, maybe even 2 years, and we're not really found anywhere to really use him outside of some people doing Faction Wars 21 shenanigans with him. But this is the content for him, and this is the rotation for him. He is fantastic mischief bait. Now you want a champion who can do a self buff, and Var-Gall does just that. He has 100% upkeep on his strengthen, which is a fantastic buff to have in the first place for a champion who wants to be tanky, and at the same time it baits mischief onto him every time he has an additional buff to anybody else on your team. So he is fantastic for baiting mischief, and he doesn't just do that, he also baits, not baits, but he also controls Wrath. Now if you land decreased attack on Wrath, then Wrath is pretty much controlled if your team has a decent amount of survivability. So you have Strengthen to bait mischief, and then you have the same champion doing decreased attack for you to make sure Wrath doesn't do enough damage to wipe you. So this champion is a fantastic champion. His base stats are incredibly high, as we all already know. 27k HP, he's got 1300 defense, 107 speed, 90 resistance, and 70 accuracy. Before this we never really knew what to do with him. You know, his multipliers aren't great, he doesn't really AoE nuke, and he is just a unique type of champion. He wasn't worth just a decreased attack, but because he brings this strengthen and this mischief bait, he is fantastic. So here's the team I ran. I ran Sifi in the lead, we ran Skullord, Var-Gall, Geomancer, we had Ugo, we had Kimi, and we had Var-Gall. Now this is the team. The start of the team is basically you want Var-Gall to land decreased speed on Decay so he doesn't cleanse before Blight. It's the same thing we've been doing for a few rotations, so the concept of this is fairly known by now. The only other thing is you want increased accuracy on Var-Gall to make sure you give him enough accuracy to land decreased speed in the first place, because you don't really want to run him with too much accuracy if you already have a decreased speed champion in your team and a decreased defense champion. So once that's accomplished, now it didn't happen the first time, I did run this a few times. Once we do land the decreased speed, we want to do enough damage to Blight so we can force the Head of Decay to do the cleanse and the shield onto Blight. And that's because we want to mess with the speed tuning that these two heads have together. If you don't do this, you run the risk of having the next rotation of the AoE cleanse into the poison cloud go off on you. So that is really annoying. At the start of this run we've been really unlucky because we actually didn't manage to land our first burn from Geomancer, which was, you know, quite unfortunate way to start the run, but I didn't really think it's going to be too much of an issue. We got the main setup, we missed a bit of DPS, but that's fine. We want to focus in this team, we want to focus down Mischief. Now I tried a few different things. I tried to focus down Decay, but because Decay is quite tanky and Mischief is so squishy, I decided to then focus Mischief down first and make sure we do enough damage to him to kill him, and then we focus on Decay later, because if we focus down Decay, Mischief and Decay die around about the same time anyway, so there's no real much point in doing that. So I thought, okay, I'll focus down Decay first, and once we kill Decay we'll focus down Mischief first, and once we get rid of Mischief we'll just focus down Decay and do it like that. Other things to look out for, you have like a single target strip from Geomancer, which is okay. You have Sifi doing block debuffs. Block debuffs is always good, like I mentioned before. You don't want to get poisoned, you don't want to get provoked, you don't want to get CC'd, so having a block debuff champion is good on your team. We have Kimi. Now I tried running this team without Kimi, and I tried running Suzerain and Husk. Suzerain for the A1 decreased speed, kind of like a Krisk, but that didn't work too well because Suzerain's really squishy. His base HP is like 15k and his defense is like around about 1k, so he kept on dying over and over again and it wasn't really great. So Husk was fantastic, but Suzerain not so much. I tried him out, he didn't really fit the team, so I took him out and went back with Kimi and Var-Gall for this team. It works really, really well. I really like this team. The team is quite well built, put together. The only champions I would probably change, or the things I would make an update to this team, is probably Geomancer and Skullord. And how I would change those, I'll get into it after we watch this run. So I'll speed this up for you guys. I'll let you guys watch the run. You'll see how we control this and how much damage we did. I'll come back in the end and talk about what we could improve on and what we could do better to improve this team. So I'll let you guys watch. So here it is. Here's the final damage of the team. We've got Sifi not doing much damage. We have Var-Gall doing 1.5 million damage. We've got Geomancer with nearly 12 million, 1 million from Ugo, Lady Kimi over 1 million, and 18.5 million from Var-Gall. As you can see, the damage is massively carried by Var-Gall, and Geomancer's damage is a little bit low because the cleansing head really does mess with his DPS. The final damage is the real elephant in the room that we need to address. We did 34.92 million. We were off around about 2 million, 1.6 million, 1.7 million. Now, if the RNG goes in our favor, we won key. I didn't want to keep on running it over and over again because we've got better things to do, and we don't really want to be running this over and over again. I got a few keys around about 31, 32 million, and this one I decided to just go with slightly better RNG and a little bit more luck. We could have probably gotten there. At the end, we probably missed a bit of damage off. The way I would improve this team is I would probably have to drop Geomancer. Now, I've run Geomancer sort of religiously in my Hydra teams, although you can see the disparity between Var-Gall's damage and Geomancer's damage is nearly 7 million. No, it's around about 6.5 million. 6.5 million damage, but that's a lot of damage. That's nearly 50% of the damage Geomancer did, and Var-Gall just like massively outperformed him. The other problem with Geomancer is that his damage isn't burst. You need burst damage, and you want to do damage quickly onto the Hydras when they devour your champion, so you can get your champion back and you can complete your team as quickly as possible, because if something is missing from your team, your DPS is slowing down, the turns that the Hydras are taken are more and more. For example, if we lose Kimmy, we lose decreased speed. If we lose Var-Gall, we lose decreased attack. If we lose anything, it can stall us from doing more and more damage. So anything that brings your champion back quicker is the best way to go. Geomancer is generally fantastic, but as the fight gets older and as you get deeper into the fight, he kind of starts falling off pretty badly. So I'm going to try to run maybe one Royal Guard, one Husk, or maybe 2 Royal Guards to see how much I like that. For the next Nightmare Key, we'll try that out and see how that works. And the other thing with Skullord Var-Gall is I would probably put him in a Guardian set. Right now I had him crit capped. He didn't really do much damage out like with his crits and stuff. I would probably put him in a Guardian set just to give the whole team more survivability. His base stats are amazing. He has 100% upkeep on Strengthen, so his survivability is amazing too. So we want to put him in a Guardian set, so that's what I'm going to do for next time. I'll probably show you the gears on these guys just to show you how well they're built and what kind of stats you need to aim for. So here are the champions. This is how I had them built. Now we had Royal Guard at 55k HP, lowish defense. I would like to have a little bit more defense, but it's just the way the build turned out. 252 speed, 100% crit rate, and the crit damage 245, and we had him at 230 accuracy because with the increased accuracy, this gives him enough accuracy to land decreased speed, and we wanted that to start the fight. I had to change my CF back into my Platinum CF, but we had it with 500 resistance and around about 340ish, 330ish speed. Doesn't really need that much speed. You just put 500 resistance on her and maybe 3.5k defense, 50-60k HP, and the rest in speed. We also had Kimmy. Kimmy's kept her gear, so that's good. She was 56k HP, 3.5k defense, 258 speed, 100% crit rate, 350 resistance. Now this will be a theme on pretty much all of my champions. 350 resistance is enough resistance to resist all of the heads with decreased accuracy on, so it's a nice thing to have when you're running Kimmy. This is all the resistance you need. I've kind of went overboard with Sifi because she doesn't need any other stat other than resistance, survivability, and speed, and Skullord Var-Gall because Mischief can still try to steal from him. Even if he gets cleansed here and there, I didn't want to take the risk. So with Skullord, we built for the full 500, but with Kimmy, with landing decreased accuracy, you can just build 350 resistance, and 383 accuracy is good. Who else did we had? We had Ugo. We had this Ugo. Again, 330 resistance is enough. 380 accuracy is enough. 350 4 speed was nice. I don't have him crit capped because I like having HP on him, just for a bigger heal on him. It's a nice amount of healing that he can get for your team and just basically keep you up. You'll see none of my team is actually built in regen. It's just Ugo, Sifi healing. Then we had Royal Guard. We've already seen Royal Guard. So this is how I had my Geomancer built. I had to take gears off him and give it back to Morley, who was my arena champion. These were his stats. He was 40, 3k HP, 2.5k defense, 267 speed, 100% crit rate, 203 resistance. That's a little bit low from my part. I should have gone up to 340 resistance, maybe dropped the speed down by 15 and dropped the accuracy down by 20 to make sure we get enough resistance on him. So that's probably something I could improve on for the next key. And we want 380 accuracy is enough, 385 is nice, 400 is a little bit over the top, but it's fine if you have it, but probably tweak it a little bit to make sure we have enough resistance, because 330 resistance isn't really hard for my gear to get. He's in reflex and 2 refreshes, and the man of the hour himself, Skullord Var-Gall. If anybody asks me this week or next week who your favorite champion is, I probably have to say this guy, because my favorite champion generally is the champion who I'm impressed with the most in a vacuum or in a current time period. So Skullord Var-Gall, these were his stats. Nothing too crazy on his HP. His HP is quite easy to get this much, 64k, 64.5k HP. His base HP is humongous, so it's pretty easy to get there. 3.7k defense. I did go for a higher defense because I wanted to see what kind of damage we can get from him, because we have increased defense Sifi. We have him crit capped, so I wanted to see how much damage we could get. It probably wasn't worth in the end. Maybe using a Guardian set or maybe trying him out in a Guardian set would have been best. We have 259 speed on him, 250 plus is fine. We have 102 crit rate to see if he did any damage, which he probably didn't. We had 515 resistance. For this champion who is the mischief bait, I would probably say 520 resistance is what you want to aim for, just to give you the highest chance to resist, because if you get stripped and if you don't have block debuffs, or if you don't have block buffs on enemy team, mischief can basically end a run or majorly affect the key that you're performing at the time. So having 520 resistance, 515 resistance is paramount. You definitely want that much. 380 accuracy is the right amount for accuracy for the decreased attack. So this is how I have my Skullord built. I can show you the masteries. It's fairly the same masteries. We went with lasting gifts for the strengthen. Now you do have 100% upkeep without the lasting gift, but sometimes on the same turn you need decrease attack, and on the same turn you need strengthen. So the way to get around that is if you get a lasting gift proc on strengthen and it keeps it up for an extra turn, you don't have to make the choice between mischief bait or decrease attack on wrath. It gives you less of a dilemma in that sense. Now we did go with Grim Resolve because I did think he'll be lower HP than he actually was. He didn't actually ever really get low HP. He never was really close to dying as far as I remember. He wasn't anybody who I revived on my team neither. So these were his masteries. We took Laurel Steel on him and we took Cycle of Magic on him. Next week I'll be trying to run him in a Guardian set. Hopefully I have good enough Guardian gear. I don't know if I will, but I will try my best to get him into Guardian. But let me know what you guys think of the builds. Let me know what you guys think of Skullord Var-Gall, where you use him, if you use him, and what you think about the team. I have a team for Brutal, which isn't going to be Krisk and isn't going to be Skullord Var-Gall. It's going to be a unique champion. I did tease him before, but if you guys want to watch that video, you know, drop a subscription, leave a comment, leave a like. If you're liking the content, I'll catch you guys in the next video. It is going to be for Brutal Hydra, and it's going to be a tasty team. So I'll catch you guys in that next video. You guys take care, and I'll catch you guys around. Peace.